back to A&A's Pavement Maintenance Education Series. Today we're talking with Nate from A&A Paving regarding why pavement owners need to constantly reevaluate the way they assess their pavements. I'm Valerie, and with me is Nate. Nate, can you tell us a little bit about your role with A&A Paving and how you serve your clients?
Hey Valerie, here at A&A, I'm considered a pavement consultant. The reason that's the case, we actually took a lot of time to make sure that we chose the right title for that. Obviously, my role is to be able to sell asphalt and concrete services, pavement maintenance to be more specific. However, so much more goes into it. We're not the company that's just going to sell you a pavement maintenance solution. We want to make sure that it's the right one. And so often as we're doing these projects, we come across issues that are different from property to property. So we want to make sure that we consult with the building owner and the property manager and be sure that we're giving them the right fix for the situation that they need. So I'm a pavement consultant. I'm actually the son of the founder of the company. My father founded A&A Paving over 60 years ago now. That legacy continues to live on, and excited about continuing that. So that's my role here at A&A.
Let's jump right into it, Nate. Can you discuss the pavement distresses owners see? What are those?
So obviously there's a few different issues and deformations within asphalt that you are going to see first, and that being cracking. The cracks that form, there's lots of different types of cracks. However, most people are really familiar with these big ones that start to form at the seams of where the paving machine meets. We pave a parking lot in passes, and anywhere that you have that seam where, one pass of the paving machine went, and then we've got the other one that comes alongside of it, that seam is always going to be the first point that breaks open, okay? Now, our guys are really great at being able to use what's called the loop to be able to make sure that there's a nice warm seam so that we can merge that as much as possible so that we prevent that from cracking too soon. Along the way, it's going to crack eventually, okay? But our goal is to make sure that that's delayed as long as possible. When they do start to crack, the most important thing that you can do is start to crack fill those locations. Because if you don't crack fill them and crack fill them properly, and we can talk about that at another time, but if you don't crack fill those properly, what happens is that alligatoring starts to form. It's a very technical term because it looks like the back of an alligator, and it kind of starts to spider out a little bit. When that happens is that starts to break the asphalt apart, all right? Because those cracks are so close together that potholes form, okay? And the asphalt gives way, and then you've got an issue. You've got not only a bump that spills your coffee as you're driving into work in the morning, but it also can be a potential safety issue. So we want to make sure that we take care of those issues. And then the other thing that we see is sinkholes in the parking lot. Catch basins, water and traffic are the biggest things that are a threat to your parking lot. That water goes into catch basins. Most often you've got a drainage structure that exists on your parking lot. And what happens is that water is flowing into that catch basin, but it's also flowing underneath. And what happens is it actually will wash away some of the stone that's underneath the asphalt. And then the asphalt deteriorates around the catch basin, and it can even go so far as washing away so much stone that it causes a sinkhole, and the asphalt actually breaks free, and you actually have a hole in your asphalt. Now, very small sinkholes, not too big of a deal, all right, other than the fact that you can trip on it, that a high heel can get caught in it, those sort of things. But it can give way, if untreated, it gives way to a bigger issue. So the biggest thing that you can do is to be able to make sure that we catch those early. So those are some of the main things that we see in dealing with a parking lot and the deformations that can form.
So what should pavement owners do if they see deteriorations like this on their paved surfaces?
Hey Valerie, that's a good question. Preventative maintenance is always going to trump the complete reconstruction of a parking lot. Okay, I think that too little concern is put on seal coating and crack filling when that can save you a lot of money in the long term. Actually, studies show that seal coating can preserve your investment that you place in a parking lot by just regularly seal coating the lot. And we typically do that every couple of years, But even more important than the seal coating is the crack filling and managing those cracks. And we do a process here, and I would recommend every time that you crack fill a lot, you make sure that you do what's called routing first. And routing, what that does is actually takes a blade along that crack to be able to open it up a little bit, which seems counterintuitive, I know, because you're not trying to open more cracks, you're trying to close them up. But when you actually do that routing process, it creates a channel within that crack that allows us then to put the rubberized crack filler in that crack. And it creates kind of like an expansion joint in concrete so that when you have that freeze and thaw, it creates a little bit of flex and it just doesn't further crack. If you don't do it that way, what happens is you just put the crack filler on top. Whatever seeps in, seeps in. You can't really control that, right? And it doesn't create that expansion joint feeling so that the alligatoring happens quicker, right? The multiple cracks that form from that main crack happens a whole lot quicker and your pavement deteriorates at a faster rate. So crack filling and seal coating, I cannot stress more how important it is to regularly maintain your asphalt surfaces.
If you're stressed by the thought of making a judgment call as to whether your pavement needs to be repaired, contact the team at A&A Paving. We're currently scheduling pavement assessments with commercial and industrial pavement owners. In the meantime, check out all our other educational videos which talk about pavement deteriorations, assessments, and how to take control of your pavement maintenance budget. Thanks for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe to the A&A YouTube channel to stay up to date on the best practices for pavement maintenance.